In this video, I'm going to be taking out 3 backyard pests, an armadillo, a possum, and a coyote, and we're going to be turning them into a gourmet Louisiana Cajun meal. Now we've got a special guest today to help us create this roadkill gumbo, and you'll want to stick around to see my reaction to tasting it in the end. So it all started when I was trying to bait up my coyote pile and realized something was stealing my food. So I loaded up my gun, brought my dog MJ out with me, and we went out to try and see if we could find it. So when MJ treed up this animal, I thought it might have been a raccoon or a possum, and it was confirmed a few seconds later that it was going to be a possum. Now if you don't want to see scope cam footage, skip ahead now because I'm about to show that. My gun of choice for this hunt is my Rock Island Armory TM22, which is a 22 long rifle and a kind of AR style platform. And as you can tell, it is quiet. I gave it a follow-up shot just to make sure it wasn't suffering, and then I waited for it to fall out of the tree. You see, his tail had been wrapped around a branch above him, and he would not fall down. Okay, we got him. Yeah, he's about to fall. There he goes. There he is. This is a good sized sucker. He'd been getting pretty fat from eating all my coyote bait, so it's good to have him finally taken out, but I was about to get something even better. Alright, I was outside actually on live stream, and we found this armadillo. Now obviously I can't shoot it on live stream, so that's definitely not what I did. Also, I'm probably going to have to blur that out. His brain's falling out a little bit, but this is our second ingredient for the roadkill gumbo. So I'll go ahead and get him processed and show you guys what it looks like when it's all cleaned up. Alright. Got a big bag of armadillo meat. That's going to be added into the roadkill gumbo. Now, in last week's video, I finally was able to take out one of the coyotes that's been on my property killing my animals. So you can watch that video if you want to see the full thing, but we also took him out. With our assortment of meats now obtained, I went ahead and got a hold of my pa-in-law and decided we were going to make us a roadkill gumbo. The plan is to make an authentic Louisiana Cajun gumbo from scratch using all these weird meats. So we got all the ingredients together and got started. All right, we've got our armadillo meat, our sausage, possum, coyote, we've got celery, jalapenos. Also chicken broth. I realize now that I forgot to mention that. Some green onions, bay leaves, garlic, onions, bell peppers, flour, and bacon grease.
Okay, I'm doing something a little bit different using bacon grease that I've never done before on making a roux. So this is already going to be a weird setup, so we might as well make it weird with bacon grease, I guess.
So while he's hard at work working on the roux, which is the base of any good gumbo, I started working on chopping up all the vegetables. And even though I'm 100% a professional chef, I had to use some superpowers to also get some of this stuff processed.
Okay, so the main thing is with your roux, it's going to start off, you know, you put your flour, you got your oil. You always want your fire low, 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 because what usually people, they get impatient and they'll rush it and they'll burn the bottom of it, and then it's no good and you have to throw it all away. It takes a long time, but if you put it on a really, really, really low simmer setting or lower, and then just slowly but surely stir it around, and you'll start seeing it start getting tanner and tanner, and then it'll start getting thicker and thicker. And you just slowly but surely take your time with it. If it looks like it's not doing anything after a while, you can turn your heat up a little bit, but you always want to be careful. The main thing is slow and steady when it comes to roux.
All right, first we're going to add in the armadillo. All right, now we're just going to brown this meat up real quick and then move over to the coyote. With this step, you're more of browning the outside. You're not cooking it all the way through. That'll come later on when you're boiling it all together. Now for coyote meat.
Is it hot?
Yeah. Now once the coyote meat was done cooking, I went ahead and drained all of these extra juices. You don't want too much of a gravy in your gumbo. And then I added in the possum parts. Put the sausage in. Now the sausage we used was some store-bought cheap sausage just to give it a little extra flavor, but I'm going to cook all the vegetables in while the sausage is also cooking. All right, so there is our possum, armadillo, and coyote.
You stir it around until it's nice and clear. And
got our jalapenos as well. We'll drop them in. All right. And the green onion.
yeah.
Or some of the green onion. We're gonna put some
we'll
later.
add some of it later once everything is going good.
We're gonna add some pepper.
That's good.
And some salt.
That'll work for now.
At this point, the roux was finally starting to take a little bit of color, but it still wasn't even close to being done. All right, it's about time for us to add in the chicken broth.
Oh, after this, you can throw that meat in there.
All right, gonna go ahead and add back in our mystery meats. And we're gonna let this cook for a while. All right, that's what it's looking like all mixed up. We got the roux cooking. If you look real closely, you might see an eyeball float up or something. I'm gonna add some water in, get it about up to there. At this point, we added in the bay leaves and mixed everything up.
Changing colors.
Oh yeah, it's nice caramel color now. All right, roux still going. We're gonna add in some Tony's Creole seasoning. Add a good bit of that. And mix it up. Might add a little bit more. There we go. Now at this point, basically we sat around for a couple more hours stirring up this roux, waiting for it to fully cook. So you can see it slowly changing colors over time, but this process took a long time. About ready?
It's getting close.
And then after over 2.5 hours, it was finally ready to add to the gumbo, and listen to this sound. Now this ended up being a little too much roux, so we did have to scoop some of it out and put it to freeze for later, but it turned out really good.
Rinse this around and dump it in there.
I gotcha.
Now, break the rest of that off in there.
Good.
I want to bring the heat up to about a mid-heat, get this thing up boiling real good, and then I want to drop it back down to a simmer, let it set for a while. Then I want to get you to taste it and see if we need to throw some more seasoning to it.
Gotcha.
Boiling pretty good. I'm going to kick that back down on the low simmer. Add some more green onions in it. Just because. Come on there. Okay, that'll work. The rest of these you can save for something else. Put them back in the freezer.
All right, it's time for the taste test. I'm gonna go ahead and try this out. Now, I know I've got some coyote meat. That's what this is. I don't know if there's any armadillo in here. That might be armadillo. And then this is that possum shoulder, actually. We're gonna try all the meats. We'll see how it goes, and maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I think that was a coyote. And it's interesting because it's actually super tender. Usually, coyote meat's super tough. But if that's coyote, now it's super tender. I know this is coyote right here. Oh my gosh, it falls apart. Flavor-wise, it's genuinely just like stew meat beef, like beef when you buy it cut up for stew. You wouldn't even be able to tell the difference between that and beef. All right. It is a bit chewy though. All right, now I'm gonna taste some of the possum. I'm gonna get some meat here off the shoulder. Oh my gosh, that falls right off the bone. Consistency is very, very much like chicken. Like it's got that chicken breast kind of stringy texture to it. Flavor-wise, I'd say you probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference between this and squirrel or rabbit. But it's not bad. Usually you'd eat this over rice. I just didn't have any rice cooked real quick. But I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10. The roux came out a little bit darker than I'd liked. It's a little bit strong, but overall, definitely a good meal. And that jalapeno, wow, that jalapeno we added, it adds a little bit of a kick in the back of the throat there. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I'm going to go ahead and finish my supper, but as always, Jesus loves you, I love you, and have a great day.